Well, greetings. I'm Savannah from Black Witch Coven, and this is an Ask Savannah video. This is where I'm going to answer one of your questions in a way that, it's just my opinion. It's only my opinion. So, you can have yours, I can have mine, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer a question someone just wrote in and asked me, and I'll answer it. So, I just actually finished shooting a full moon ritual, the first full moon of January full moon. And why is that important? It's important to me because as a person that does magic, I like strategic sorcery and the beginning of the year. And what the full moon does for me is basically chop the year into milestones. And so there are little ways for me to just to check in, like a formal check-in, if you like, making sure that I'm on track, right? I just don't set and forget. I want to make sure that I'm following up on stuff because I'm strategic. It's strategic sorcery. And so I have all these little milestones. And so what I'm doing when I step into the year, I'm looking, am I achieving what I want to achieve? What do I have to release or let go of so I can actually achieve my goal? What do I actually have to give gratitude for? Who do I actually have to give maybe an offering to? So this is what it's really about, interactive witchcraft. It's not just casting one spell and just thinking they're going to drop to my feet and lick my little toes. No, I give gratitude. I'm thankful. I follow up, and I'm looking in at myself and saying, what do I need to do, change, learn to become a better person, a better human, or what do I need to change about my ego so I can actually achieve what I want to achieve? And so why am I telling you this in the Ask Savannah video? Well, this year, as you know, if you're in the USA, gosh, it starts off the new year, and what have we got? We've got here in New Orleans, we got some douchebag that drives his car around a police barricade and just mows down a whole street of people, 4 blocks worth of people, killing a whole lot of people, injuring a whole lot of other people. So that really just, as spiritual people, I don't care if you're a black magician or whatever you are, I feel like we're all a little bit like empathic. You're connected, right? And we may not have the same language for this, but you actually feel when something's wrong in the environment. You feel that vibe. Then in Hawaii, on Oahu, where I lived for 2 years on Oahu, and have friends on Oahu, there was that fireworks explosion. I don't know if you heard about that. If you haven't, look it up. Man, it was horrific. And why it's horrific to me is it's not just, some kid is just playing around with a firework and it blows off his hand. No, these people have these, I don't know, war class fireworks in a cake bomb, and apparently it tips over into a whole bunch of other fireworks, kills a whole bunch of people, maims a whole bunch of other people, like injures children, babies, and all families around. And so once again, it pulls on you, right? It just drains you down. And of course, backing onto that is the Californian fires. I used to live in Pacific Palisades when I had clinics in Santa Monica, and I know people there. And so, it doesn't matter if you know people or not. You have a heart. You feel sorry for these people. And then across LA. So tragedy in the first, and that's just in the USA, right? Across the world, there's a whole bunch of shit always going on. And it can really pull on your energy levels. It can make you really just feel like, damn, why am I even trying? The external factors are just relentless. But what my point of talking about all of this is, even though I am very empathic, I really feel like I cry. Well, I have to suck it up now or change the channel when those commercials come on and that little dog with his little sad eyes and he's in a pound and he's, he hasn't been fed properly. I tear up even thinking about these things. Surprising, I do have a heart. It's a real tearjerker, but we can't let the external environment affect us when we are on the path of enlightenment, when we are, like, I'm a Luciferian, so what I'm trying to do is always better myself, stay focused, overcome obstacles and challenges so I can be the best version of myself, so I can hit my goals. And for me, what does that mean? It means I can not only help myself or make sure that I am feeling safe and secure, that I can also give to others, and most importantly, my family, and then my friends, and then layer by layer to help outwards. And that's very, very important to me. So that's why I have to make sure, as an occultist, I am in tip-top shape. I have to release what doesn't serve me. I have to be so grateful to even be given this blessing of being on the path, honestly, and then ask for what I really feel like I need or what my goals are, so I can try and get that spiritual help to hit my goals. So I felt like I needed to share that, because so many of us are impacted by our external environmental factors. So this month I will start on that. Of course, there's so many other environmental factors, which I'm going to get into. Each week I'll probably share something that has pissed me off over the past couple of years. I'm very opinionated, in case you didn't know. I just wanted to say that at the beginning of this video, because I feel like we do need a little bit of motivation just to get on with it, especially when we hear so many terrible things happening to other people, and we can feel like our world is closing in on us as well. So we lose our motivation. So with that being said, now I want to move into the Ask Savannah question. This is from RK. And RK actually only wrote in about an hour ago. But this is a question I really want to answer. I love this question. RK asks, are some people spiritually immune and therefore untouchable as far as spell casting? Oh, I love this question, because so many people are wondering, why do I have to always cast protection spells? Or why do I always have to get spiritual cleansing? Or why am I always under attack? Are some people just not under attack? Or are some people are just untouchable? They're so spiritually strong. So this is why I've decided to answer this question. So I'm going to give a straight up answer. And that answer is, we are all vulnerable. Nobody is completely immune to spiritual attack. That's including myself, any other guru, absolutely anyone can be attacked spiritually. So I jumped in there and asked around my group, especially the energy workers, like me in my own group. And Shanu says, no one is immune or untouchable to spell casting. Human will play a significant role as to allowing the spell to manifest or disabling its power before it manifests. Some people have a strong human will that external energies cannot penetrate through. Others, well, they allow anything and everything to come through, causing issues to arise in their energy. Ooh, now let's unpack that, right? Because it's really, well, it's true. So the concept of being spiritually immune or spiritually untouchable when somebody casts a spell on you, there's no such thing as being spiritually immune. We are all vulnerable to cursing and hexing. And that's why somebody like me will do a lot of protection magic. Protection magic should be the first type of thing that you learn, and learn very, very well, because it's very easy to do cursing and hexing. It really doesn't take a lot of skill to do cursing and hexing, but you need to also understand what it takes to protect yourself, not just from spell casting, as dear RK has stated, but even the touching beyond the veil. When you open that door into the spiritual world, you need to be able to protect yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be, how do I put this? you're going to be entertainment for whatever is on the other side. So even if you are in the light magic and you're just into crystals, the spiritual world doesn't care. Remember, this is new age stuff. Magic is ancient. And so just because we put a different label on it doesn't mean that it's any different. Magic is magic, guys. And maybe in 10 years, you won't look at me like I'm some villain. You'll understand that what I'm talking about is the truth. And there's no difference. Energy doesn't know good from bad. Energy goes where energy flows. It doesn't judge itself. Anyway, saying that. But do you get it, right? So when it comes to being immune or untouchable, in me saying that everyone is vulnerable, what does it take for you not to be so vulnerable to other people's spells? Well, what you really have to have is a very strong intent and a very strong will. People without a strong will are always going to be vulnerable to everything. I don't want to turn young people away from magic, but you need to build up your protection, like I just said, and you need to be confident within yourself. I feel like this is even more important these days when everyone is watching what other people are saying on social media and you are very vulnerable to other people's feedback. Like, I'm an old bitch from the 80s. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. What is that saying about Gen X? We just don't care, right? We have an opinion. We're okay with other opinions and we're just going to get on with it. But I get it. Like, the next generation, it's a little bit different. You're making yourself more vulnerable by falling victim to other people's opinions. Other people don't know you. They don't know your journey. Also, there's a lot of jealousy out there. When you put, even myself, that's why a lot of my other Coven members, well, no one wants to come on board because, and show themselves in videos, because you are making yourself more vulnerable. People want to know more information about you. Now, years ago, that was also very important to me because I had a daughter in school here, and it was important for me to shield and protect her. And there were some douchebag organizations trying to come at me. Of course, I were blocked and shit happened for them because, of course, I'm a mama bear. I'm going to come back and attack. But I've got it now. It's different, you know. But you have to be very careful when it comes to jealousy, the evil eye. People wishing you well, but through jealousy, if you're not protected, that can really affect you. So that can make you really vulnerable as well. But your own free will is probably the most powerful force that you can have. What does this mean? So my free will is that even if you send me a blessing or you send me a curse, I have a protection around me that is going to transmute that energy into something else. That's my business. But what that means for me is that unless I will something, no one else can will anything towards me or against me. That's just the way it is. That is, and I truly believe that. Now, there are exceptions to that. Of course, when I want people to do something for me, if I've asked for a fellow Coven member to do something for me, of course, I'm going to open that gap and I'm going to give them permission. But my own free will absolutely block anything that is not from my own. When you practice magic for a long time, this is part and parcel of being an occultist. You know, could you imagine a Black Witch Coven all these years, all these people throwing shit at us and cursing us and wanting to shut us down? It's been a shit show, but I'm not worried about it because my own free will and my own protection blocks all of that shit, so I can just get on with it. So psychologically, I'm not going to be worried about it. I could just move on. Secondly, those protective practices that I talk about is that these rituals that I do for my protection enmeshed with the spiritual practices that the entities that I honor and respect and give offerings to. I know that I have a level of protection on me from the ancients. It just it is what it is. I know that, and people will argue, oh, you know, she's given herself over to the dark side, whatever. Yeah, fine, if you want to say that. But I believe in any spiritual system, when you're under the protection of them, it's because you've earned the right to ask for that protection. You're giving gratitude, you're giving offerings, just like the pagans did throughout time, throughout history. Before the Abrahamic religions, we were honoring the gods with offerings, with gratitude, not just when we wanted something, when we were casting a spell, but all the time. And so this level of blanket protection gives us a level of immunity, a level of protection as far as they feel like they want to interfere with. There's also ancestral protection as well. It goes on a different tangent if you want, but ancestral protection will also help you along that vein. As much as those ancestors were skilled in their lives, they can actually give you a sense of protection where others, maybe especially of the same type of magic, won't be able to come in at you. Now, what else can make you immune or spiritually untouchable? Well, in Black Witch Coven, we always talk about energy work, energy cleansing. That's a very blanket word when it comes to us. But why is that important? Okay, as a black magic spellcaster, I can't tell you exactly what I do to shut things down, right? But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop your systems from functioning properly. So you're not going to want to, if you are a spiritual person or another spellcaster of a lower level, you're not going to be able to have that energy to protect yourself. Your aura is starting to shut down. And then when that all happens, you're going to be very vulnerable for the spell that I'll send your way, but also all those other little energies and entities that are going to take effect around you because of that spell. So if you are keeping your spiritual hygiene up to date, if you're doing your cleansing work, we have a service with us. It's like, are you under a spiritual attack? And so what we're really doing is looking what is broken within that system. What do we need to do to repair that person energetically so they're less vulnerable for spiritual attack? Now, I'll jump into another area of that question that I think is important because we deal with this all the time. People will ask, the next question is, how often is that needed? Well, if you're not in the magical world at all, then maybe once a year. You don't have to do it through us. Just go to some energy working practitioner and they can help you through, pranic healing or Reiki work, or there's a shit ton of them. Go and do some energy work to put yourself call it spiritual hygiene insurance if you want. But you have to make sure that you're spiritually sound. Now, if you're spell casting, then of course you need to up this. It's not just you're worrying about spell casting against you, but you're touching the other side from the veil and you're giving away a little bit of your energy. And we don't always have time. I'm a busy spellcaster, so do I always have the best practices? No, I'm lazy sometimes. I forget to do some things. And so I make sure that I get all of these cleansing done by other members in my group because everyone has a different gift. But what this is for is to make sure that my spiritual, my immunity, to become untouchable, it's there. I'm having other people through their lenses, through their little verticals, check in on me. What can you see? Are there any chinks in this chain? Let's fix it up. So I'm quite vigilant on that. So, and then if you're just dabbling, you're interested in spirituality, you're just dabbling, I'd say at least once every 3 months, just have a checkup, have some energy working. Can you do it yourself? Yes, I know people are on the budget, but if you've got a friend, practice with a friend. If you've got a spiritual friend, you're doing a course, get your little girlfriends or boyfriends to do a pranic healing course, a Reiki course, and check each other out for the chinks and do that repair work. I feel like people just jump into spell casting or witchcraft or occultism just for the benefits. And these are the people that are the most vulnerable to what's going on, not just from spell casting. You're opening your world to a whole bunch of other stuff that you're not even aware of, okay? The other thing that what makes you less vulnerable to this sort of thing, I'm working off a little list I just wrote, is your personal beliefs. As I touched on, I believe in Lucifer. I'm a left-hand path occultist. I believe in the ancient gods. And so my personal beliefs are of honoring that system of magic and asking for the blessings of that system of magic. I am asking for protection from forces both seen and unseen so I can remain in service. Blah, blah, blah. This is what I ask for every day. And so this is my personal belief system. I will tell you something that I told a client only yesterday. I said, stop jumping between your magical belief systems. He was, and no shit on this client at all, because everyone doesn't know what they don't know. Don't be burning candles, praise candles to an angel next to a praise candle for a demon. Don't be jumping in every spiritual system just so you can get a leg up or ask for a blessing. This is the fastest way for a shit show to happen. This is even the Catholic priests that do the exorcisms and stuff like that. They will tell you it's people that are dabbling in multiple systems where they shouldn't be. This is what's going to cause you a lot of grief. So just don't. In saying that, some people believe if they go to the church or a mosque or some other organization that they're going to be spiritually immune. I can tell you right now that is not true. Jesus is not going to make you spiritually immune. You can pray all you want. That's not going to matter. Actually, people that are praying, see, praying is also asking for a blessing beyond the veil, and you're becoming open. So unless you're doing some other things to protect yourself, you are completely vulnerable to the negativity, parasites, other types of entities from the spiritual world. And if you don't believe me, once again, go and ask a Catholic priest about how many exorcisms they do. Because if the Catholic Church gave you spiritual immunity, would they need to do so many exorcisms? You can answer that yourself, right? So in summary, okay, someone like me who has a very strong external free will, it's going to be really difficult for external energies or entities to penetrate in and affect me. So think about that and think about what you can do to strengthen your free will. Think about what I said about personal empowerment, ensuring that energetically you're vibrating at a higher level so things can't attach to you. And if you are under attack, step away from playing in the magical playground until you're vibrating at such a level that you can engage in a healthy way. Learn about protection magic, whether it's talismans that you have on you or your spiritual hygiene or rituals that you do or the spiritual system that you follow. It can't be one and done. It has to be part of your spiritual life, especially if you're a witch or a occultist. Protection magic is your first line of attack. So I hope this answers your question, RK. And I will see you all for the next Ask Savannah video. Blessed beast, one and all.